Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Nighat Seema, Assistant Professor, Political Science Department, Government Girls Degree College, ZamZama, Karachi. Today, my topic is the state, the definition and essential elements of the state for the B.A. Part 1 and First Year Arts. State. The modern term state is derived from the word status. It was Niccolo Machiavelli who first used the term state in his writing. His important work is titled as a prince. The state is the most universal and most powerful of the all social institutions. The state is a natural institution. Aristotle said man is a social animal, and by the nature he is a political being. To him, to live in the state and to be a man were identical. State is a permanent institution. Without state, human being cannot fulfill their basic necessities. According to Aristotle, state came into being so that we could live and it maintained for the purpose of they spend a life in a happy and good way. According to Plato, the state is a necessary because nobody can fulfill its needs by itself. State is the most important social organization. State work for common interest of the people. State has also an important importance in Islamic ideology. It is very beneficial for effective institution to promote Islamic way of life and Islamic ideology. This is the reason that Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, established an Islamic state after migration to Medina. Now we are going to some famous definition given by some famous philosophers. The state has four essential characteristics or elements, namely population, territory, government, and sovereignty. A good definition of the state must point to its essential elements. The state is a people who permanently occupy a defined territory, are independent of external control, and possesses a government which has control over all individuals and groups within its boundaries. Professor Gardner says the state is a community of persons, more or less numerous, permanently occupying a portion of territory, independent of external control, and possessing an organized government to which the great body of inhabitants render habitual obedience. Gardner's definition is considered to be a good definition of the state because all essential elements have been pointed out in it. State is a people permanently occupying a fixed territory, bounded together by a common laws, habits, and customs into one body politics, exercising through the medium of an organized government independent sovereignty and control over all persons and things within its boundaries, capable of making war and peace, and of entering into the international relation with the communities of the globe. President Woodrow Wilson has given a very brief definition of the state. He says, the state is a people organized for law within a defined territory. The definition is not complete as the word sovereignty does not occur in it. Professor Lasky defines the state as a territorial society divided into government and subjects and claiming within its allotted physical area supremacy over all other institutions. This definition is complete and is point out all essential elements of a state. Briefly speaking, we can say that a state is a community of people occupying a defined territory, organized under a government which is a supreme over all persons and association within its territory and independent of all foreign control or powers. From the definition of the state, we learn that it is composed of four essential elements: population, territory, government, and sovereignty. Now we discuss these features. Population. The state is a human association. It is impossible to think about the state having no population. An uninhabited tract of land cannot be called a state. There must be a certain number of people. The question arises, what should be the size of the population? The answer to this question is that no minimum or maximum limit can be laid down regarding population. Early Greek thinkers like Plato or Aristotle mentioned certain numerical limits, but a study of the existing states reveals that no such absolute limit can be fixed. Plato believed that an ideal state should have a population of 5,040 persons. Aristotle laid down a general principle that the number should be neither be too large nor too small. It should be large enough to be self sufficient and small enough to be well governed. In a modern time, the state consists of a large population. There are small states with population of few lakhs like Panama or Albania and a very large states such as China and India. Today, about the population of the state, only one thing can be said. The population should be so much as would be sufficient to perform all the needs of the culture, art, learning, industry, agriculture, defense, and civilized life. It should be not exceed to natural and human resources of the country. The population of a state consists of three kinds of inhabitants: full member states called the citizen, the subject or national, and non-member called aliens. Citizens are generally those persons who are member of the state and enjoy full civil and political rights. Subject and nationals are members of the state but are not active citizens. They are denied political rights. Alien are foreigners. They enjoy some civil rights but have no political rights. Territory. There can be no state without a fixed territory. People need territory to live and organize themselves socially and politically. It may be remembered that the territory of a state includes land, water, and airspace. The modern states differ in their size. Territories are necessary for citizenship. As in the case of population, no defined size with regard the extent of area of the state can be fixed. There are small and big states. The state must have a defined and fixed territory. The state emerged when human groups occupy particular geographical areas. The state is territorial association. Its membership is confined to the people living on its territory. The territory of a state includes not only the land within its jurisdiction but also natural resources, forest, mines, oil, uh, lakes and rivers, and the marginal sea, which is 3 miles according to the international law. The airspace above the land is also part of the territory of the state. Aerial space has become very important today because of the development of aviation and radiotelegraphy. Like population, it is not possible to prescribe the territorial limits of the state. The existing states greatly vary in size. There are small states like Luxembourg and Israel, and big continental states like America, Russia, and Australia. The Russia occupies one sixth of the land surface of the globe. It is impossible to lay down any hard and fast rules regarding the size of the state. Government. Government is the third element of the state. There can be no state without a government. The people living permanently on a defined territory do not form a state without a government to which they render habitual obedience. The state is a nothing if there is no government to make it real. Government is the machinery or agency through which the will of the state is formulated and expressed. The state plans and acts through the government. It is the state that administrates the state, keeps law and order, formulates the policy of the state, and organizes the people dwelling within its territory. If the people are the limbs and the territory the body, the government is the head of the state. Government does not mean only the executive branch. Government consists of all those who are concerned with making, administrating, and interpreting law in the state. This means that it consists of all the legislative, executive, and judicial organs in the state. Sovereignty. The fourth essential element of the state is sovereignty. It means the supreme, original, and unlimited power exercised over all persons and association within the boundaries of the state, independent of every outside power. It is the soul of state. State alone is a sovereign association. Sovereignty has two aspects. Internally, the state is supreme over all persons and association within the area of its jurisdiction. Everyone there must obey law of the state, and the only government is the competent to apply physical influence. External sovereignty of the state implies that the free from a control of any other state or political authority, and that its territory and population form no part of wider political unit.